Yo, we got a fresh, brand spanking new Daredevil starting with issue number 1 by Stephanie Phillips. You already know what to do. Put on your red suit, get your billy clubs, and take it to the street and roll that intro, cuz. Yeah. What's going on, Geek Corner? This is your boy, Earthsmack the Mad Scientist, and welcome back to the Orange Phoenix Media channel, one of the hottest black comic book YouTube channels on this side of the Dakotaverse. So today, we are covering Daredevil issue number 1, and you want to stick around to the end of this video to hear my personal opinion about this book. So let's get into it. So first things first, I have to compliment the artwork in this book by Lee Garbett, man. It's something about this artwork that just speaks to me, and I really do love that. And one thing you got to know about me when it comes to comic books is that if the artwork is right, you already got me 75% of the way. Already got me 75% of the way. And just by cracking open this book and seeing Daredevil going through the city, swinging through the city, and in action, this was very good on the eyes. And it starts out in Hell's Kitchen, of course, Daredevil's base of operations. And it says, "This is my favorite part. I lost my sight as a child, but in the darkness, God gave me something else, something more. I feel the world in a way most people never will. Every heartbeat, every breath, a single rain droplet can tell me which way a man is facing. And I can hear a stolen car speeding around a corner from 6 blocks away. I hear every footfall on the block and aim the car for where they aren't. I hear the carjacker's heart rates accelerate with fear, and I can hear the gun being drawn, metal against fabric, before he even had a chance to take aim. The whole thing is over in just a few minutes. No casualties, limited property damage, not counting the car, 2 more crooks off the street. This is hardly my first rodeo. It's all nearly perfect. Daredevil doesn't make mistakes." Now, one thing I will say, Daredevil do make mistakes, okay? Daredevil definitely makes mistakes, but I think what Matt is trying to say, what he's trying to convey in this first few pages of this book, is that this is where he's most comfortable. Like when he's out in Hell's Kitchen as Daredevil, stopping criminals, stopping the bad guys, this is where he's most free. This is where he feels the most perfect. And that's not lost on me. So on the other side of it, yes, there is Matt Murdock, the actual character outside of the Daredevil costume. And I did not exactly cover that because I want you guys to go to your LCS and get this book and find out what Matt Murdock is actually up to. But there is another character that actually appealed to me as well, and this character is a detective, and this detective's name is Forte. Now, Detective Forte is on the trail of this murder, and he says, "Anyone pulled the surveillance footage yet?" And the police officer says, "Still processing, Detective Forte." He said, "Everything all right, kid?" And he's having an inner monologue with himself just as well as Matt Murdock was in the beginning of the book. And he says, "The feeling is mutual. I'm your boss, officer, not a child. It's not, but I'm not fighting that spinning feeling in my guts while touching eyeless bodies on the subway because I need friends. I'm here to do a job." And as it turns out, the eyes were removed with precision, no rage or panic. Ligature marks on the wrist indicate the victim was bound, but I'm not seeing defensive wounds on the hands or fingers. He also says, "I'm really, really good at this job." And the police are like, "Okay, what does that tell you, bro?" He like, "That this is going to happen again if it hasn't already. So run a sweep on all the other cars on the subway to see if the missing eyes are close. But if I'm a guessing man, my bet is that our killer took the souvenirs." Now, we don't know who the killer is in this story. Now, I as reading this book, I feel like there is, just like Matt Fraction's Batman, there's different other stories within the main story. And by reading, issue number 1, it gives me that same feeling. And I love that feeling because you got branches of stories. You got Detective Forte And you got Daredevil doing his thing. And, so far, he's just doing his typical thing. He's stopping bad guys. He's stopping crooks, getting them off the street. Not necessarily killing them. He's doing it with near flawless precision because, as he said in the first part of the book, this is not my first rodeo, right? So, again, Matt Murdock as the character, he is highlighted in this book. Like, Matt Murdock as the law professor because he used to be a lawyer. Right? He used to be a mayor. He had other occupations, but he is a law professor. And the person he interact with, or persons that he interact with, is very, very unique because those two people that he interacted with as Matt Murdock definitely going to be part of this story going forward. And that's just my guess. And maybe a love interest. We'll see what happens. But Daredevil is out on his normal patrol. Like, it's, just to say it's his second night. And he says, the kitchen is my home, and no matter how many new coffee shops go in or rooftop bars are open, I would know it like my most intimate relationship. And maybe my healthiest, but my love life is a conversation for not now. I know every noise and every smell like they're a part of me. Nothing could surprise me. But unbeknownst to him, something does surprise me. Like, what you got to understand about Daredevil is that, yes, he does have that radar sense, right? It's nothing that can really, truly surprise him. But this particular instance, nothing set off his senses. This almost feels like, Venom's introduction with Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Man could not sense Venom with the spider sense because the symbiote blocked that out. But with this particular instance, this figure is in Matt's apartment, like just waiting on him. And he says, they show his future in flames. I'm looking for Matt Murdock. And yes, it kind of gives off the vibe that this particular character is blind as well. Maybe. And he doesn't know Matt Murdock is Daredevil. The thing is, like, okay, if you see Daredevil coming in this apartment building, like, it's easy to put two and two together, right? It should be easy to put two and two together. Like, why is Daredevil coming in this apartment? You're looking for Matt Murdock. There's a possibility that you could be Matt Murdock.
Dummy, yeah. Yeah. Dummy, yeah. Yeah.
So let me whoop your ass right quick and unmask you. But that didn't happen. So this particular character that can really get the jump on Daredevil did get the jump on Daredevil. But to be fair, I feel like Daredevil swung first and asked questions later. Because at one point, this character, put his hands on his shoulders. Like, yeah, he got like a vice grip. I feel like that's a threat. So I'm going to swing on this dude. I'm going to swing on him. That was a mistake because in this last page, this man is out the window on top of a car. And, he's like, look, I felt like I know everybody, but somehow this ghost knows me. And this guy is prophesizing the death of Matt Murdock. Not particularly Daredevil, but Matt Murdock. And I'm gonna just go on a limb and say this is a new enemy. And I like the fact of this character having to jump on Daredevil. That means these fights are going to be amazing. Now, again, there are a few key elements in this book that I did skip across on purpose because I want you guys to go to your LCS to get this book. My assessment of this book is that I absolutely love it. And from what I understand, from what I've been reading, this has been #1 selling. This book has been coming off the shelves. There's literally a blind bag. Okay, there's literally a blind bag, which I missed out on, by the way. But I was able to get me the, at least the A cover, right? And this was the very last book on the shelf at my LCS. I was very fortunate on a Wednesday to get this book. It was the very last book. There was no other copies. It was flying off the shelves. And it was very good marketing, I might add, because Daredevil Born Again Season 2 is out. So this is perfect timing for a new Daredevil comic to come out. And also, to be a Daredevil #1, this can be a brand new introduction to the Daredevil mythos when it comes to a newcomer coming to this book, right? You can read about Daredevil, and it's a #1. It's not going to confuse you as far as what's going on. Yeah, it's going to prompt you to read previous stories because Matt Murdock to be a lawyer, right? But in the book, he is a law professor, right? He's teaching at Empire State University. But you can read about what led up to this point and it prompts you to do that. So I really did love this book, and especially along with Marvel, like with the Imperial and like, you know, the intergalactic stuff, the cosmic stuff goes out in space a lot, and you know, Marvel is in a little bit of a lull. You know what I mean? With the exception of a few good books that are out there, overall, Marvel is in a little bit of a lull. And the fact that I thoroughly enjoyed The Punisher and Daredevil, because they came out within a couple weeks of each other, taking it to the street level, I really do love the fact that they take it to the street level. It makes it very entertaining, very much grounded. You know, maybe we get some guests in there. Maybe we may get a lecturer. Maybe we get the Punisher guest star in it. Because one thing I want you guys to do in the comments, right? Not only do you hit the like and subscribe button and that notification bell, you know, when they hit that notification bell, make sure you select all that way you get notified on our content, live or recorded. I want y'all to go in the comments, because there's one particular panel, it's something happened in the background, and I want to know if you noticed it on your first time reading the book. I'm gonna tell you right now, I didn't notice it the first time I read it, but the second time I read it, I did notice something in the background, and it's within the first few pages. So when you see it, let me know in the comments when you see it, okay? I'm not gonna tell you what it is, but just let me know what it is, and I'll definitely respond in kind. But yes, this book is a huge get, okay? #1 on selling for that week. Very good book, very much grounded, street level stuff, perfect marketing, because Daredevil Born Again season 2 is out on Disney Plus right now, so you can watch. So it's definitely perfect timing, and I feel like this ongoing series by Stephanie Phillips, she is definitely in her bag with this. Okay, she is definitely in her bag, and this is gonna be very enjoyable, very enjoyable. So go out there and get this book. Go to your LCS and get this book. I'm pretty sure there's a high probability it may get a second printing. Okay, considering the fact that I went to my LCS, there was literally 2 rows of this book, right? Well, not 2 rows. There was like 2 sections of this book, and I got the very last one on the Wednesday. You know, New Comic Book Day is on Wednesday, right? So I got the very last book. If that tells you anything about this book, and going to other LCS in where I'm at, sold out. So there's going to be a second printing, all right? Make sure this is on your pull list, all right? So see you guys next time. Peace.